What's up, everybody? Today we're going to trim up some of my trunking yuccas here. On the front of the yard we have Yucca Recurvifolia right here, and then Yucca Gloriosa in the back. And I'm just going to show you guys how I like to do it, give some tips, some safety measures that you might want to take when dealing with these guys, and let's go. So pretty much after a long winter, you got your new growth, your middle growth, and then your old leaves. That we're gonna trim up these old leaves, maybe some of the middle of the road guys that are kind of parallel to the ground. But first thing you're gonna encounter is a wall of leaves, and they're spiky. The leaves themselves are thin, and they can get you. They can actually cut you just because they're so thin. If you're kind of just trying to work fast, you're gonna slice yourself almost like a paper cut. So the first thing I like to do is identify some of the leaves that I'm going to keep in the middle. So all the leaves on the top, obviously going to keep those. I'm going to chop down all the ones in the bottom. I'm going to keep some, most of the ones like here. So the ones that I'm going to keep, I'm not going to chop. Let me just zoom in here. They all have this spike, and this will get you. This will go through your clothes, your jeans. I've been poked in the eye. These are mofos right here. So what I want to do is carefully just chop the ends. Okay. I think I have to sharpen my shears here. And then once you chop off that end, it's nice and safe. It's not going to poke you. These particular yuccas, this guy and the two Gloriosa in the back, they've claimed the lives of many balls that we play with, myself and the kids. So it's a good idea to trim those up, and they are dangerous. So that's number one. And the reason being, when I go to trim down these, when I lean in, just imagine this is a point of view, right? So let's pretend this is my face here, the camera. When I lean in to trim up these guys, this stuff's going to poke us. You want to spend a little time. The leaves that you're going to keep, go ahead and trim all those spikes off. When you do that, they're not going to grow back. That's the good news. So this is not like a weekly thing you got to keep doing. It's one and done, okay? So that's number one. Number two, because what I mentioned earlier, because these are thin, and if you kind of are just working really fast, working quickly, you're going to kind of get yourself a paper cut with these leaves. So I like to kind of create a nice surface area. I'm going to start in one area, clear a spot. So I'm going to kind of work my way in and just trim like halfway. I'm going to trim halfway. Get myself in there, right? Kind of get a hole. That guy's not cooperating. And then once I get in a little bit, let me trim this guy. This guy's all crappy looking. Hold on. I actually want to keep that leaf, but yeah, I got to trim my shears. They're dull. So now I have a little room. Now I can kind of get in and start getting close to the trunk. Okay, and that's the idea. That's kind of how I like to do it. Nice, and I'm going slow, right? I'm not ripping. I'm not going crazy because these guys over here might get my wrist, get my fingers. All right. So once I clear an area, I'm slowly working there. So let me take a turn here. This is an area that I cleaned out earlier. Okay. So this is kind of what you're looking at. When you're making progress, this is kind of what you want to see. So here we have last year's clippings. This is this year's clippings, so they're still green. And then down here, this is like 2 years ago, or maybe like early in the season last year. And this down here is like what eventually the end result. It's a smooth trunk, okay? So down at the very bottom, you could probably, some of these you can just like get with your hand and rip right off. Come right off the bark. Actually, they're kind of fighting here. Making me a liar. There you go. You can kind of just like tear them off because they're so old. I don't mind this look. Some folks will even get like a razor blade and kind of go all the way up. I'm okay with this. So this is kind of really just how crazy you are with what you want to see with the trunk, but also keep in mind the health of the plant. You don't want to like stab them. So just be careful. That's the point here. All right. So, but this is basically what you kind of want to see. What I like to do when I'm in tight now that I cleared this work area like we were just showing a minute ago, I like to actually turn my shears upside down, and this actually helps me get in these grooves a little better. Like if I went like this, the normal way, which is still fine, it's kind of clunky. I'm kind of moving the whole plant. I'm running into things, so I like to turn it around, and it just seems to fit in the groove a little better. Like bam, and I'm snapping. Okay, so that's the idea. That's what I'm kind of doing there. All right, let me try to do one. I'm like going opposite hand here. Boom. All right, so there you go. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So that's the Recurvifolia. Some folks, like, you can see the way the Recurvifolia grows. It comes out straight at the top. As soon as it starts to kind of go, it's going to go parallel with the ground, and then they're going to kind of bend a little bit and kind of point downwards. Some folks like to trim all this stuff, which is fine. Some folks will say that's over pruning. Some like that look. I'm not against it myself, but my preference is I like to keep some of this stuff. I kind of like to make this kind of look like as much of a palm tree as I can. But anyway, that's my preference. So I kind of like to keep all of this down. I'll prune, and then everything north of this, I'll kind of clip that. Now over here, I'm going to show you the two variegated Gloriosa, or Glorioso, I forget how to pronounce it. So this is what it looks like before you prune it. There's all the old dead leaves that we're gonna go ahead and prune. If you don't prune that, it's gonna look terrible. Okay. So this is kind of what we're working with. I pruned this one earlier. I like the way this looks. I don't think I over pruned it. If I start whacking these guys, that might be I might be on the border. But I think I got a nice trunk going, nice and clean. I got the leaves out of it. That's another thing that's really annoying. I'll show the other yucca real quick. I got most of the leaves out in the fall. Leaves are gonna get caught on here. So you try to get that stuff out of there. There's last year's clippings. This is what I just did this year. And I have a knife too. Sometimes the shears don't get in all that tight. So you can kind of get like an old knife that's sharp and kind of get a little closer to the trunk. But it's probably easier, kind of maybe wait a month or so, let these brown out and dry out, and then you can have an easier way to go about that. All right, looks good. And I'll show you what I was talking about with the leaves. In the fall and the winter, you're gonna get leaves all caught up in there, really annoying, looks like crap. So just as you're pruning these, try to get the leaves out. But like I mentioned, because the leaves are the yucca leaves are thin, they might cut you. So just as you're pulling these leaves out, the deciduous leaves out, I should say, go slow. Don't be crazy, don't be ripping. Just go nice and slow and be patient, and you'll have a nice clean look and you won't beat up your hands. So, all right, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you have experience with trimming yuccas, please leave some comments. If you have any questions, concerns, anything that I probably forgot, which I'm sure I did, I'd love to hear from you. So there you go. So we have an untrimmed, trimmed, and partial trimmed. All right. So good luck with with trimming your yuccas. Be careful and have the right tools and be patient, and you'll survive. All right. See you guys.